I've had somebody tell me that they couldn't come out to their boss because they were afraid that at their property management company, the tenants would have a big problem with that and she would get fired. Another person won't come out at work because, again, they're afraid of get fired because there's no protections in place. When I used to travel a lot with my partner, we used to get hotel or motel rooms with 2 beds. We'd stay in one bed overnight, but the next morning we would mess up the other bed for fear that we could get kicked out of the hotel or motel because we were gay. It's exactly what it is living in fear and feeling like they're not as good as other people because they're treated that way at work, public accommodations.
I'm not even sure what the objective is to have a city ordinance. The first thing I think of is housing, but I would also say that we don't want to create a situation where in the housing market we're creating a situation where in municipal court it would be hard to prove, and even if it could be proven, are the fines really what people would want to see in Birmingham? I hear it's $250. Is that really what people want? But it's not only just complicated, it changes from the fact that we are learning more about it every day.
Okay, as for the objective, I've spoken with a couple people and they were saying it's really about them having the fear of coming out in their workplace, that there will be repercussions. So this would be another layer of protection for them.
So they're not in a company that has that kind of employment policy.
Right.
So life, I've never had to deal with that. I haven't had to find the courage to make that decision. I'm sympathetic to that. I just don't know that a city ordinance is the way to do it. And I'm not sure, I'm not sure it would do what they want it to do. In other words, I work for a small company, I'm a painter, and I want that protection that I won't be, if I come out and they see at my company Christmas party I'm with a same-sex partner, that I won't be fired. Those are conversations you need to have with your employer, I think. I don't know that a city law would protect them the way they would hope it would. One of those light bulb moments, but they would have to bring me something that would be a light bulb moment. Everybody knows that I represent citizens of District 2, and that a lot of people have that concern that live in District 2. And they know who I am and what I'm made of, and they might be disappointed to learn that I'm going to say we really do have to study it. I don't want to have it be something that would be a gross disappointment to people who are expecting something that couldn't be delivered.
For the people who want this change to happen and feel like you're not representing them, what would you want to say to them?
You know who I am. You know what I'm made of. You can look me in the eye and talk to me. You know that if I say that I will investigate it, I will. We have to make sure it's truly needed to satisfy the goal that each individual has in mind. So it's going to sound like a very politician type of thing to say, but it needs a lot of study. I know that Montevallo has produced a type of ordinance. I haven't read it. I looked up Birmingham, that they did something about a year and a half ago, and they're still trying to figure out how to actually use it. But I rely a lot on our own legal department's opinions, and one of the first things that comes up is the federal protections for civil rights not adequate. And 6 months ago, a neighbor and someone I represent brought this up to me, and I asked the question and they said no. In fact, there's going to be a case in the Supreme Court in October to try to test the notion that the word sex within the protected categories, does it include sexual orientation, sexual identity, and all the other topics that have come to light recently. So Sure, that's one of the study points that we need to look at. A lot of people ask me, well, shouldn't we be a leader? You don't want to be a leader at the folly of creating a quagmire that can't be enforced and nor will help someone's situation. Everyone knows I'm very committed to our motto on a flag that says we are building an inclusive community, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. We internally, I'm talking to another council member about ways to put money behind that statement, which means expanding on a service that we already have, perhaps leaning on the Human Rights Commission even more. We actually have a Human Relations, not rights, Human Relations Commission. Dear Mr. Willie Love is on that. He's a leader from my days at NASA, and I would look to him too for some opinions about this topic.